Okay, in this part, I'm going to talk about the work of Craig Barton based on his websites about diagnostic questions. So you can click on this link and open it and see my Evernote file talking about the diagnostic question. So this is extracted from the page from Craig Barton explaining his work about diagnostic questions. So you can see the original link here, and you can look at some examples later. So let's look at the explanation, introduction by Barton. So this is the page. Yeah, explain what does it mean by diagnostic question. And here's a quick example. So actually, this is a very big pool of multiple choice questions designed by Mr. Barton and other teachers. Some are rather simple and straightforward, but some are also quite interesting and specially designed. And it also comes with a platform where the students can answer the question directly online. And then as a means, it also collect the students' work for later analysis and discussions among teachers. So that is a very rich platform for teachers. So let's go to the website directly. Right? Through this button, you can go to the website for these examples. So that is this is the platform of diagnostic question. You can freely create an account. So I now log in with my account in order to see the question inside. So this is one question item, right? And you can see more questions later when you click on this button on the left to find out other questions. And so you can see this is basically a multiple choice question. Student answer A, B, C, D. And you can click on this, right? And then choose this as an answer. And at the same time, they also invite or encourage students to give explanation. So you can see later, quite a lot of students also write down something about how they understand or how they choose this question, or just simply just click this one. I'm just guessing, okay? And so this will give you the means to answer the question. And after that, you can see below the tools for teachers. All right, this is the insight. Okay, so this part here show you the insight. That means the student's answer. So you can click to open this. And here you will see the answers of the students. Now, what does it show here? It shows all the answers A, B, C, and D chosen by the students. And they also include the explanation. So this part is very important. Okay. And so you can see some students try to explain, okay, in their own way why they choose this answer. A is the wrong answer, so it's in red. And you can also select the order. Right? For example, you can choose the one with the longest reason. And then you will see these are the answers, written answers given by some students, but not all. Right? Some may not put down any explanation at all. And you can also go to the other one, for example, B, okay? So you can see how this student explained his answer. So that I think this is a very good source because in this way you can read some of the students' writing and even go to some of their understanding, okay? For example, among these different descriptions by the student, some are focusing on the formula, some are able to explain in what way the area can be obtained in this way, not simply just because by following the formula. So you can have a look of these different reasons later. More than just the answer, you can go back to the screen above, click on this filter your data, and then you can see based on all the students who answer this, you can select the group that you're interested in, or just select the age range or gender if you're interested in specific types of answer. And then below this, you can see a summary. Okay, so this question, so many students answered correctly. And if you look at the percentage, then you can see quite a lot of students answer this correctly. Okay, and you can see in what way this question can be a good question for discussions or not in the answers in the classroom. Okay, now let's go back to the bigger pool. Okay, if you go back to the front page for the question, so you can look at here. This is the part for checking or searching all the other questions in the website. And so you can see a big pool among mathematics. So you can look at different topics, for example, algebra. So these are different algebra topics. So the format is very simple, right? They mainly allow the choice of 4 answers, A, B, C, D. And so other teachers also contribute to this website. And so you can see that they are not designed by only one teacher, but there are different teachers doing the contributing to this website. So let's look at another area, maybe geometry. Okay, so you can also see different types of answers and questions. Or let's see perimeters and area, so you can narrow down to more different questions. Okay. Now, while choosing the questions, you can also select based on this criteria. Okay. Particularly, there's one called most misconceptions. Now, probably these are the questions that most students get it wrong. Okay. So you can try to find out which one may be more useful and in what way it can be useful. Okay. Click into any one of these items. And the other one is most reasons given. So that means these are items that most students contribute to writing their explanations. So I think this is also a very useful tool for us. For example, if you look at this one, what is the area of the following shape? Okay, just like the demonstration before, you can choose the answer or you can look at the insight. So that means how the students answer this question. If you filter it, then you can see the percentage. So here, 40% of the students choose the correct one, B, but quite a lot choose A and C, okay? And so that may be significant, right? And drawing our attention to students writing A or B and A or C. So you go down to find out for those who choose A and why they do it this way. So you can see some of the answers, explanations below. So I think it's loading now. Yes, so these are the answers, written answers provided by some students. So that is a very good source, right, for you to understand the students' work and think, and also understand why it can be useful in the classroom. So let's go back to the explanation page by the author. So you can see the authors explain why he's interested in this kind of question and build up this platform and then collaborate with other teachers as well. And they also give quite good tips for you to consider. In my Evernote page here, I try to highlight some parts. For example, how to use this question in the classroom, although they provide a good technological platform for e-learning, but the author also emphasized that the question can be used without technology, actually. You can simply print out those questions and ask the student to indicate quickly what are the answers they choose, or even using mini whiteboard. You can click on this link to find out more information from me about use of mini whiteboard in many other occasions. Okay, so these are good tools for you to use inside the classroom in a very flexible way. And if you scroll down, the author also explain how to use this question in the classroom and for what purpose, how you can integrate it in the different parts of your lessons. And also more important, and if you further scroll down, yes, how to respond to students' answer. So that means not simply collecting the answer, but in what way it can be incorporated in the classroom discussion, right? And further develop their understanding and conceptual ideas. So you can look at these quick tips. Another point I want to highlight in this introductory part here is that the author actually expects this to be a good means for teachers' collaboration, right? So teachers, they invite teachers to create the question and then put it in the platform, or actually invite or create similar kind of questions for their own use and share and discuss with each other, okay? So, so they can see that these resources, of course, the resources itself is important, but more important is the question or the way we design questions. And it can be a good process for collaboration among teachers, and particularly useful for new teachers, which I agree very much. Okay? As a new teacher, it can be a good practice for you to think about suitable question, or the way you can ask question, or the way you can make use of those questions in the classroom. And finally, they even consider it as a good means for the student to write their own question and then share with each other. You may even further consider this as a teaching ideas in the classroom. Okay, now I go back to the top of my notes here. In my note, actually, I also include other links so that you can know how to find other questions in Mr. Barton's website. And besides the diagnostic question website, which I originally showed you, you can also go to another website of Mr. Barton and then follow the topic resources to find out some selected items based on different topics. So now I open this one. So this is Mr. Barton's another website. This is the one. This is a section for teachers, right? So you can see different kinds of teaching resources. So among these options, you can choose the topic, right? Topic resources here, and then select the topics that you are interested. Okay. For example, if I scroll down, I can see similarity and congruence. So you can further see subtopics. Okay, let's say this similar shapes. And then within these subtopics, now you can choose a range of different resources provided by Mr. Barton. So once again, you can see those related to diagnostic question. So you can click here to go into the page for diagnostic questions related to this topic, right? 2D similar shapes. And so it is extracted from his pool. I think it's handpicked by the author based on many different questions that people have already created and stored there. Now, this is the link to go back to the online tool, right? So that you can access the problems, the questions directly, or you can also open the PDF or download the PDF. Now, that is one of the way the author suggests the use of these questions in the classroom without technology. So you can see that it can be nicely printed on a page for the student to answer directly and then discuss or share for further learning activities. And bear in mind that similar to his platform, they also prefer some space for the students' writing of the explanations as far as they can. Okay. So these are two questions about similar shape. The first one is rather special, or at least not that familiar in our local context. Okay? But this is a very good question. So you can think about it in what way you can help the student to develop the ideas about similar shapes, okay, based on this setting. And the other one may be more familiar to us or quite common in many other curriculum, just finding missing links based on similar shape. So you can also think about it in what way you can design answers or the options, okay, in an appropriate way that can diagnose or understand students' thinking and for further learning opportunities. Okay, so you can follow this link or even see some of my examples chosen in my Evernote files. Okay. Now, finally, another site I think you can also learn a lot from the author is it is also part of his blog, right? So you can go to his blog to find out these sections. For example, this called what we call a guest misconceptions. It is part of the blog of Craig Barton's, which includes many other areas, right? So you can see diagnostic question is one of the area included in the blogs, and also his other website. You can later on visit other websites of Craig Barton to see other kind of questions that he developed or promotes in classroom learning, and even other podcasts or talks and workshops materials that he provides. Okay, now let's go to the diagnostic questions. So you look at diagnostic question, you can click on any one of these blog items where the author tries to discuss in greater details some of the selected questions and why some students' answers are interesting and deserve our attention. And under this subtopic in the tag here, you can see the other the grouping. Okay, some will invite the teachers to guess the students' misconception. So I click on this one to see this item. So these are items about asking the teachers to guess the misconceptions among those who have already answered a questions in the website. So for example, this one is about angle, and it's an item about angle facts. Right? It includes some analysis of the students' work and also discussion with the teachers. Now, so you can click open this to see the original post. Here in my Evernote files, I show you a link to the questions. So you can see my post here in my store in my Evernote file. So it is extracted from the website, but I try to highlight some part I think is more interesting or easy discuss with the teachers. Now, first of all, so this is an item. You can look at this item, asking the student to find the missing angle X in this figure. Okay, so this figure is not drawn to scale, and these are the options given to students. B is the correct answer. The other one are the wrong answer, A, C, and D. And so I see that the author tried to invite the teachers to predict, right? So which one is the most popular wrong answer of the students, okay? Before going on to show the analysis of the students. Now, but I think there may be a typo here. I think this should be the option A because option A is one of the wrong answer. And this shows that the majority of the teachers predict A is the wrong answer given by the student. But in fact, the majority is option D. So this is quite an interesting item, right, to discuss with the teachers. And so if you further click down, then you can see so why the teachers, how the teachers choose A as the wrong answer. And then this is some selections of the explanations by the student, just like what I showed you in the previous platform. If you choose the student's explanation, you can see what they have written, and these illustrate some ideas that the student have, right, in answering in giving the answer A in this figure. For example, so you can see here. These students write down here A as sit on the straight line, and the angles on the straight line add up to 180 degrees. That's why they choose 80 degrees as the answer. Now, which is quite a lot of teachers predict, okay? In some way, the students may be wrong. Another interesting one I see below is that this student assume the triangle is an equilateral triangle. And therefore, after getting one angle 80 degrees, they assume all the other angles are also 80 degrees. Let's go back to the figure. So this is the figure. Okay. So that means the student find out this 80 degree and then at the same time assume that this is an equilateral triangle. That's why he choose A. So this illustrates some possible thinking of the student when reading this diagram. Okay, now the correct one, I mean the most popular wrong answer is actually D, okay, and 40% of students. And this is an list. This is a list of answer given explanation. This is a list of explanation given by the students why they choose this one. And then you can look at this. I think all of this shows that they assumes that the triangle is an isosceles triangle, right? So this is the part I highlight to illustrate some of the way they describe their thinking. So which are very useful because it shows that actually some students can describe what they think. As a new teacher, of course, this is very important to us to try to learn more about in what ways the student can respond. Of course, doesn't mean that all students can articulate their thinking, right? But based on this set of materials, we can start to learn about what student can tell or describe about their way of thinking. And also based on different kind of questions, you can see the way they talk about the mathematical details, right, of the situations. And so this is a very good source for you to learn and to think about how we can set good questions and also set questions for discussion inside the classroom. Right? So you can find out more from the other links. I've chosen some of this item which I think more interesting. Maybe you can have a look of my selection and go back to the websites of the blog to find out more from the authors as well. Okay? So this is the part about diagnostic question by Craig Barton. I'll go on to explain other links later.